Alright, Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the artists of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. And today, it's Monday, May 27th, 2024, Missile Monday. And, I also want to say, Thawada Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, for allowing me to do this lesson as well. This is your brother Yahweh from the GMS Detroit camp. And, today I have this article from The Guardian, and it says, Ukraine war briefing, France flies nuclear-capable missile as Russia holds drills. So, I'm just going to go into this article and bring out a few scriptures, Lord willing. This lesson is edifying and straight to the point. And it says, France carry out its first testing of an updated nuclear-capable missile as the ASMPA are designed to be launched by a Rafale fighter jet, according to the French Defense Minister Sébastien Lecornu. It came a day after Russia said it began nuclear drills in its southern military district, which stretches from Russia into occupied Ukrainian territory. The announcement of Russian drills is partly directed at France after its president, Emmanuel Macron, said he would not rule out sending in troops on Ukraine's side. Lecornu said the missile was fired without a warhead by a plane in an exercise above national territory at the end of a flight representing a nuclear air raid. He congratulated all forces, defense ministry, teams, and industrial partners involved in a long-planned operation. France plans to spend about 13% of its military budget over the coming years on its independent nuclear capability, including upgrading to next-generation air-launched missiles by 2035. Lethal aid is now flowing from China to Russia and into Ukraine. Grant Shapps, the British Defense Secretary, told a London conference on Wednesday, "Today I can reveal that we have evidence that Russia and China are collaborating on combat equipment for use in Ukraine," he said, attributing the information to U.S. and British defense intelligence. In the U.S., however, Joe Biden's national security advisor Jake Sullivan said that while there were concerns China might provide weapons directly, lethal assistance to Russia, we have not seen that to date. The U.S. did not have a concern about what China's doing to fuel Russia's war machine, not giving weapons directly, but providing inputs to Russia's defense industrial base. Shapps said NATO needed to wake up and bolster defense spending across the alliance. He argued the Democratic states should make a full-throated case for freedoms that are dependent on the international order, meaning we need more allies and partners worldwide. Excuse me. It's like you. Says Ukraine has equipped some of its naval drones with GAD, multiple rocket launching systems, and used them to fire at Russian positions in combat. A Ukrainian intelligence source has told Reuters the Sea Babies have been used this week to attack Russian positions on the Kinburn Spit in Ukraine's southern region of Mayo or Mykolaiv. A Russian airstrike on Kharkiv city on Wednesday destroyed a cafe, damaged a nearby residential building, and set a petrol station ablaze. Local officials said 10 people were wounded, including said regional prosecutors, a trolley bus driver who had both legs amputated. Russia used a UMPB D-30 guided bomb launched from the bordering Belgorod region. Prosecutors said Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky made a plea for defenses against the guided bombs, which had become the main instrument used in Russian attacks. In countering Russian bombs, much remains to be done. Ukraine needs systems and tactics that will allow us to protect our positions, our cities, and our communities, says the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is pushing a proposal in the Biden administration to let Ukraine fire American weapons into Russia. The New York Times has reported it comes after Blinken visited Ukraine last week and said the U.S. did not encourage striking into Russia, but it should be up to the Ukrainians to decide. Questioned by reporters on Wednesday, Mike Johnson, the U.S. House Speaker, said, I think they need to allow Ukraine to prosecute the war the way they see fit. They need to be able to fight back, and I think us trying to micromanage the effort there is not a good policy for us. Yeah, and as you can clearly see, I'm not going to read the whole, article, but, you clearly see that Ukraine is still having a hard time over there, against those Russians, which, the Ukrainians and Russians, they're the same people, but the point being is that, the Ukrainians are having a hard time, fighting with the Russians, man. Because again, Russia and China are allies. So of course, China is helping out Russia, with their, war tactics, and even weapons. But, France, as it says, is, tested, one of their nuclear weapons, because again, that's just the time that we're in, man, where, these nations are getting ready for war, man, So while, these Americans are doing what they do best, partying and bullshitting, man, these nations are gearing up. It's like they are gearing up for war, man, to go to war with Babylon, man. And it's primarily going to be Russia, the bear versus the whore, as I say, that's what, World War III is going to be. These two main nations going to war with each other, and we already know the outcome. On a smaller scale, Russia is going to destroy America, but on a grander scale, it's going to be our Lord Yahweh Shai, along with the angels that are going to destroy this place, man. So I'm just going to bring out the scriptures. I don't want to make this one too long. I'm going to start in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. And as you can see, the headline reads, a time for everything. And there indeed is a time for everything. And it says, to everything there is a season, and every time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather the slaki, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to rend, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. And the main point I want to, make in bringing out these verses is that's the time that we're living in, man. In verse 8, we're in a time of hate. We're in a time of war, man. Because I'm just quoting it, we're in a time where, the love of many is waxing cold, man. And, these other nations gearing up for war it shows you we're in a time of war, man. These other nations don't like each other, man. They primarily hate America. Whatever nations aren't, allies with each other, they hate these other nations, especially the ones that are, allies with America. But primarily, all these nations are ultimately going to be angry at America. Not just Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. All these nations are going to be angry. Even America's allies are going to turn on her, man, and destroy her. But what are they gonna use to destroy her? This is what they're gonna use. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54 and verse 16. Says, "Behold, I have created the waster, Slakia. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals and the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." And that is talking about, those ICBM missiles that are going to be used during World War III. This is what these other nations are going to use, to destroy America, man. These missiles. Now, are these other nations, going to get hit? I'm pretty sure they will. But as far as we know, Russia and the land of Israel are going to be destroyed. But the difference between the two is America is going to be left completely desolate, and the land of Israel is going to be built back up, So I'm going to get the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 9. And it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak say I am strong." And indeed, that's what these nations are doing, man. They're getting ready for war. They're also, in possession of these nuclear weapons, because at one point in time, it was only America, and Russia that had these weapons. But, you have many of these other nations that have, nuclear missiles. America had the world in fear at one point because they didn't want, to feel what Japan felt when they dropped those bombs on them. But now, just like it says, these nations, they're saying, let the weak say I'm strong. So these nations, these weaker nations, they now possess the same capabilities as America, these nuclear capabilities, man, these missiles, but Russia and America possess the most nuclear warheads, man. And in between Russia and America, Russia has more warheads, than America. So that should tell you something, man. Russia is going to take America out, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's biblical prophecy, man. It's inevitable that this place is going to be destroyed, and rightfully so, for all the wickedness that comes out of this place, So I'm going to get the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, Yeah, Jeremiah 50 and verse 1 says the word of, it's like, yeah, Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 1, it says the word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by prophet, it's like, yeah, by Jeremiah the prophet, says, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not, say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. And this is the point, and I'm going to end it on this. It says, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. So yeah, man, it says out of the north they're coming up a nation against her, and that is talking about Russia sending those missiles to America, man. That's that North country, that is spoken of, you know, that great nation that is speaking of again are those missiles, which, I'm going to grab it real quick and then I'll end it, because that's what it's talking about. Russia sending these missiles. It's like, yeah. There's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, and verse 9 says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. The arrow shall be as of a mighty man. It's like you. The arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And again, that's talking about those missiles that Russia is going to send over here, to America. And these other nations, they're going to get their licks too, But again, Russia is going to be the main nation to take America down, So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.